Good evening and welcome to the 2026 Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame induction ceremony honoring Bill Lunney. I'm Marco Machete and I'm the past president of the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. It's my honor on behalf of the Hall of Fame to welcome you all to our induction ceremony this evening. We hope that by learning more about Bill's work and impact in the conservation community of Wisconsin, you'll be inspired to continue your own conservation pursuits. Thanks for tuning in tonight and enjoy the show.
The Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame Foundation was created in 1984 to encourage the growth and practice of a conservation ethic as a legacy for the people of Wisconsin, just as our inductees did. The Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame is a nonprofit organization guided by a board of directors. Voting member organizations represent more than 30 conservation organizations from around the state. Each year, the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame inducts up to 3 people. To date, there are over 108 inductees who have been honored. You can learn about each of these conservation champions on the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame website. Any person, group of people, or organization can nominate someone for induction into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. Nominees have many environmental and conservation backgrounds and varying types of education and experience. From writers to artists, educators to policymakers, from researchers and managers, Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame heroes come from all backgrounds and walks of life. The Hall of Fame accomplishes its mission of advancing the conservation ideal by inducting individuals who have contributed significantly to conservation in Wisconsin and the nation. Based on standards and criteria set forth by the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame Board of Directors, all inductees must have significant ties to Wisconsin, and their contributions must have wide-reaching impact affecting a range of natural resources. To maintain objectivity in the selection of inductees, a board of governors was created to recommend inductees for selection. Each summer, a 5-member board of governors reviews nominations. The highly esteemed governors are an independent body and have in-depth knowledge of Wisconsin's conservation history. The governors select nominations to move forward to the board of directors and voting member organizations for their consideration. The board members and organization representatives select the upcoming year's inductees from that list of finalists at their annual selection meeting. While voting membership in the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame is only open to organizational members of the foundation, individuals may participate in the mission by providing annual support. The financial support of member organizations and individuals allows the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame to celebrate, advance, and share Wisconsin's conservation legacy as it hosts induction ceremonies and maintains inductee archives. Going forward, the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame strives to share stories of our inductees through the website and outreach programs to inspire the next generation of conservation heroes. We invite you to learn more about the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame and Wisconsin's conservation heritage by visiting our website at WCHF.org.
Next, we have a video highlighting some of the most memorable moments throughout Bill's career. Enjoy. At this time, we would like to give a special thanks to the many sponsors that helped make this induction ceremony possible. Induction ceremony sponsorships are one of the primary sources of revenue for the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. It wouldn't be possible to continue honoring the icons of Wisconsin conservation without these generous supporters. Thank you so very much. Our first speaker is Camille Zanoni, Director of Donor and Giving Partner Engagement at the Madison Community Foundation.
I first met Bill when I began working with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources and the Friends of Wisconsin State Parks. Bill was decades into his conservation career, and I had just returned from the Peace Corps and was beginning mine. But from our first encounter, I was struck by the passion for conservation that Bill embodied, that green fire in his eyes. I had the honor of working alongside Bill along each stage of my professional career, from the state parks to the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin, to today at Madison Community Foundation, where Bill and Judy were instrumental in establishing the Foundation for Dane County Parks endowment and a personal endowment they set up for Wisconsin's trails and parks and natural resources. Bill's life and career were remarkable, not just for his personal and professional achievements, but for how he dedicated himself to lifting others up and bringing others together towards a shared conservation goal. He was exceptional at identifying the fulcrum upon which the levers for change could most effectively be moved. And he understood the power of policy and advocacy and collective action to create systematic change. And he recognized the greater importance that could be achieved when policymakers from local, county, city boards to statewide systems of government were brought together towards a common goal. He was like a keystone species on every conservation landscape that he set out to conserve, be it his work preserving a key wetland like Dunn's Marsh, or his work advocating for the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Fund. His very presence in the process enhanced the entire ecological community involved. But Bill didn't do these things for personal gain or personal enrichment, any of it. He truly lived a life of public service, and he did it all for the common good. He was passionate about increasing the capacity of people and nonprofit conservation organizations to do their work more effectively. It wasn't enough simply for Bill to help start all the numerous conservation groups that he did and the friends groups that he helped create, but he was always looking for ways to increase their capacity so they could sustain their work in the future. And although he committed so much of his life and his career to these large, hugely significant efforts, Bill genuinely delighted in the small and ever-present wonders of nature around him. I hold many memories of walking through prairies and wetlands and woodlands with Bill and Judy, including the trails in their backyard, where Bill delighted sincerely in witnessing the emerging ephemerals that they had carefully planted, or listening to the bird songs that neither he nor I could admittedly always identify, but we love them just the same. To know Bill was to be adored by Bill. In addition to his conservation acumen and endless power of positive political persuasion, Bill had an inexhaustible ability to extol the virtues and accomplishments of those around him. And to no one did he exude this adoration to more than his beloved wife, Judy. You could not recognize Bill for an achievement without him immediately and rightfully extending loving recognition to her. Their love was the type of devotional and lasting love that's written in the Crane songs, and it was an inspiration to witness. To measure Bill's impact on Wisconsin's conservation landscape is like trying to count the number of good oaks in one acorn. It is said that a society grows great when men plant trees in whose shade they know they shall never sit. Bill, we and all of Wisconsin's lands, waters, and wildlife are better because you walked here, and we are forever grateful to you. Thank you.
Our next speakers are Elizabeth Kohler, the current director of the Wisconsin chapter of the Nature Conservancy, and Mary Jean Huston, the former director of the Wisconsin chapter of the Nature Conservancy.
I'm Elizabeth Kohler, State Director for the Nature Conservancy in Wisconsin. We're a global conservation organization proud of protecting more than 244,000 acres of land and water in Wisconsin. And we're proud to celebrate Bill Lunney's conservation leadership.
I'm Mary Jean Houston, retired state director for the Nature Conservancy in Wisconsin. And I had the privilege of working with Bill when he served on the Nature Conservancy's Board of Trustees from 1994 to 2003. He was our chair from 1996 to 1998. As a volunteer leader, Bill was supportive of fellow trustees and staff. His background and leadership style helped guide TNC through a time of transition and evolution.
During Bill's tenure, he was part of protecting 3,500 acres at 20 locations across Wisconsin. He brought his energy and optimism to help lead the expansion of nature preserves in the Baraboo Hills, Door County, and Spring Green.
Bill also helped initiate new projects in the Kekagon-Bad River sloughs in the Lake Superior watershed and in the border lakes, safeguarding land and water corridors between Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula.
Bill was a connector of people, making introductions across conservation and communities, always focused on outcomes, fundraising, and political advocacy. He was a tireless champion of the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program.
Bill was a force for conservation. He embodied thinking globally and acting locally. His leadership of conservation across our state with the Nature Conservancy and right here in Dane County has made a lasting difference for our communities and for future generations.
Bill dedicated his life to protecting the lands and waters we love and we need. We are thrilled, the Nature Conservancy is thrilled to celebrate his induction into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame.
Our next speaker is Tom Thorson, chair of the Dane County Parks Commission and one of the co-founders of the Foundation for Dane County Parks, along with Bill Lunney and Judy Pfeiffer.
Thank you. It's an honor to be able to present for Bill Lunney's induction into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. And, I think, as you will hear from the other speakers, Bill left a huge lasting impact on both the state of Wisconsin and Dane County. And it's so fitting that Conservation Hall of Fame has inducted Bill. And it was also very nice to know that Bill knew he was going to be inducted before his passing on February 28th. Bill was a giant in conservation leadership for both the state and for Dane County. He really truly made a remarkable difference and impact on conservation for future generations. While others will talk about Bill's impact on a statewide basis, I plan on concentrating on some of Bill's accomplishments here in Dane County. In 2019, the Dane County Board passed a resolution along with the county executive dedicating the William G. Lunney Lake Farm County Park. And in the resolution, as I go through, I'm going to make a few additional edits, but I think it really captures why Bill is so deserving and why he should be recognized because of the wonderful differences he made for conservation in Wisconsin, and the leadership he provided to the Park Commission, the county, and all of the statewide organizations he was involved with. The resolution reads, William Bill G. Lunney served county government for over 50 years, starting as a county board supervisor in 1969 and culminating as Park Commission chair in 2019. Bill served on the Dane County Park Commission for 32 years, including 30 years as chair, 1989 to 2019. Under Bill's leadership, the Dane County Park System has grown from 3,500 acres to over 15,000 acres of protected lands throughout Dane County and welcomes over 3 million visitors per year. And this was in 2019. One of the things that Bill was a big at, Bill and Judy were big, his wife, Judy Pfeiffer, were big advocates of, was how healthy our parks are for both our physical and mental health. And in the pandemic, because we had these parks, we had over 5 million visitors. So it truly helped make a huge difference. Dane County Parks is now the largest county park system in the state. Bill's accomplishments and contributions to Dane County Parks and government run long and deep. Prior to his tenure on the Park Commission, he served 6 terms on the county board and was a principal player in efforts to modernize county government, creating the office of the county executive in the early 1970s. I'd like to highlight a number of Bill's services as chair of the Dane County Park Commission. He helped develop a park classification system to help organize and define park uses and types. He oversaw 6 parks and open space committees that led to the adoption of 6 park and open space plans. He was a co-founder, along with his wife, Judy Pfeiffer, of the Foundation for Dane County Parks. He also was involved with the creation of the first dog parks in the nation. We now have 8 dog parks in Dane County, which are enjoyed by our citizens. He had a very strong role in the support and advocacy for our volunteers, our friend groups, our partner organizations, and the success of Dane County Parks. He, along with his wife Judy, were co-founders of the Friends of Capitol Springs. He had an impeccable dedication to the mastery of civil discourse and public engagement in chairing meetings as the Dane County Park Commissioner and chair. And it's estimated that he ran over 750 meetings. One of the things that I personally saw with Bill is how much he believed in clean, open government and how he respected everyone's opinion and was very civil in his discourse. Additionally, Bill has statewide conservation accomplishments, including co-founder of the Wisconsin Wetlands Association and leadership positions with the board of the Nature Conservancy, the Friends of Wisconsin State Parks, and the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin. The resolution then read, now therefore be it resolved that the Dane County Board of Supervisors and the Dane County Executive recognize William G. Lunney's service to the people of the state of Wisconsin and Dane County as Dane County Park Commissioner. It will be further resolved that Lake County Park will be dedicated and hereon after be the William G. Lunney Lake Farm County Park. It was really a pleasure to work with Bill and Judy. They made things enjoyable and welcome. Everybody felt a part of a team with his leadership. I often thank Bill and Judy for their dedication and leadership in conservation efforts and really appreciate this opportunity to do so again today. Also want to thank the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame for this appropriate recognition of Bill's conservation legacy. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Tracy Hames, Executive Director of the Wisconsin Wetland Association.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity to say a few words about Bill Lunney and his wonderful legacy relating to Wisconsin's wetlands. I want to start out with a quick origin story. Back in 1969, a group of 4 people sat on a mosquito-filled front lawn in a neighborhood not too far from the University of Wisconsin in Madison. At that meeting, in that summer, hot summer, sweaty day, they were discussing the state of wetlands in Wisconsin. Now, remember, this was before there were very many wetland protection laws, and wetlands were mostly thought of as waterfowl and fur bearer habitat, etc. So they had this discussion about the state of wetlands and really the need to develop an independent, science-based organization that could really focus on advancing science, advancing wetland policy, and advancing the care and enjoyment of wetlands in Wisconsin. And those 4 people on that front lawn were Jim and Libby Zimmerman, Dan Caulfield, and of course, Bill Lunney. What started out originally after this meeting was the development of an organization called the Dane County Wetlands Association. The Dane County Wetlands Association very quickly morphed into the Southern Wisconsin Wetlands Association. And by the early 70s, it became statewide as the Wisconsin Wetlands Association. Now, Bill's legacy here, especially early on, started out with his efforts to help protect and care for what we call Dunn's Marsh in Dane County. It was a very high quality wetland that had been threatened by development, and he devoted much of those early years helping make sure that land is protected and cared for. And today we can go visit Dunn's Marsh and see its protection, and it can be enjoyed by the citizens throughout Dane County and the rest of the state. So Bill's legacy with wetlands in Wisconsin, from some perspectives, started back on that day in 1969 and has continued ever since. And the work he's done over the years, protecting the wetlands and other land, natural resource lands in Dane County has been unparalleled. So I really want to thank Bill. Thank you for all the work you've done. Thank you for developing an organization that is employing me today and all the work that's gone on and the wonderful ripple effects of the work that you began all those years on that mosquito-filled lawn. Thank you again, Bill, and I'm so honored and privileged to be able to say a few words about you. Very worthy inductee into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. Thank you.
Now we will hear from David Clutter, Executive Director of the Natural Resource Foundation of Wisconsin.
My name is David Clutter, Executive Director with the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin, and I am honored to recognize the life and legacy of William G. Lunney, our friend and colleague Bill, now rightfully a member of the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. Some people contribute to conservation and others help shape it. Bill certainly helped shape it. For more than 5 decades, Bill helped protect the lands and waters that define Wisconsin, the wetlands that filter our water, the parks that bring communities together, and the landscapes that remain intact against the odds. These are all part of Bill's life's work, but he didn't just protect places, he also built the institutions that would protect them long after he was gone. Bill helped found the Wisconsin Wetlands Association, the Friends of Capitol Springs Recreation Area, the foundation of Dane County Parks and Groundswell Conservancy. He also helped lead and strengthen organizations like the Nature Conservancy, Gathering Waters, Friends of Wisconsin State Parks, and the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin, ensuring their work would endure for generations. However, his most visible legacy may be Dane County Parks. For over 30 years, Bill served as chair on the Parks Commission and helped grow the system from 3,500 acres to over 19,000 acres, creating one of the most admired park systems in the nation. Those who knew Bill described him as principled, collaborative, and unwavering. He did the hard but important work, year after year because he knew it mattered and because he cared. But he didn't do it alone. For 45 years, his wife, Judy Pfeiffer, was his partner, offering strength, encouragement, counsel, and shared purpose. Together, they reflect the quiet dedication behind so much of what we celebrate today. With Bill's passing, we feel the loss of a remarkable leader. But we also see all around us evidence that his work endures in the land, in the institutions he helped build, and in the people he inspired. By any measure, Bill Lunney's legacy is not only secure, it is still at work, shaping the Wisconsin we know today and the one we will leave to those who follow. It is an honor to recognize and welcome Bill Lunney to the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. Thank you.
At this time, on behalf of the Board of Directors, the Board of Governors, and the voting member organizations of the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame, it is our honor to induct Bill Lunney into the Hall of Fame in 2026. We will now hear from District 16 State Senator Melissa Ratliff, who will share a legislative citation in honor of Bill.
Hello, I'm Senator Ratcliffe. Today I'm honored to recognize an extraordinary Wisconsinite, William Lunney, on the occasion of his induction into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. This is one of the highest honors in our state for those who have dedicated their lives to protecting and preserving our natural resources, and it's so well deserved. His commitment to conservation has helped safeguard the lands, waters, and wildlife that define Wisconsin. His work reflects not only a deep respect for our environment, but also a lasting investment in future generations. On behalf of Senate District 16 and the state of Wisconsin, thank you, Mr. Lunney, for your dedication, your leadership, and your enduring impact. Congratulations on this incredible honor.
We will now hear from Bill's family, his wife Judy and his sons Michael and David. I had the opportunity to briefly visit with Bill earlier this year, and we'd hoped to have a video of him speaking on behalf of his induction. Sadly, Bill passed away before we were able to create that video, but we look forward to hearing from Judy, Michael, and David, and we thank the three of you for being willing to join us tonight and speak on behalf of Bill.
Mike, Dave, and I want to thank you all for the huge honor of inducting William G. Lunney into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. We also want to thank the agencies that nominated him: the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin, the Wisconsin chapter of the Nature Conservancy, and the Wisconsin Wetlands Association. We profoundly appreciate the letters of support written by Kathleen Falk, Stan Temple, and Bill Smith, and want to thank all the other organizations and people that Bill had the privilege of working with. Our son Mike wrote Bill's obituary, and anyone reading it could see the incredible conservation legacy he has left for the state of Wisconsin and especially Dane County. Bill knew about this honor before he died almost 2 months ago, and was even getting ready for what he would say. He was very pleased when his colleagues nominated him. He said it was honor enough that they thought so highly of him. He didn't expect to get this honor, and when it happened, he was humbled and felt he didn't deserve it. So he made it very clear over and over that it wasn't just him alone. It was all the people that he worked with and volunteered with over the years, including his family, that should get the credit as well. But he was pleased because he saw that the Hall of Fame was a good way to inspire future generations.
My dad wanted to leave the world a better place than when he found it. He took to heart a book he read in the 1960s by Stuart Udall named The Quiet Crisis. This book warned of the threats to America's natural resources and called for a nationwide land conscience. My dad was also influenced by Aldo Leopold, who wrote, and I quote, "We abuse land because we regard it as a commodity belonging to us. When we see land as a community to which we all belong, we may begin to use it with love and respect," end quote. Later, my dad learned from a native elder who embraced the seventh generation principle, based on the philosophy that the decisions we make today should result in a sustainable world 7 generations into the future. His real work for conservation started in the late 60s and 70s when he was on the Dane County Board. His constituents came to him about saving Dunn's Marsh. He wrote in a memoir about it that stating that saving Dunn's Marsh and the subsequent work to save the Upper Mud Lake and the Monona wetlands in Madison started the movement in Wisconsin to save wetlands in general. It led Dad, along with 3 others, including Jim and Libby Zimmerman, to found what became the Wisconsin Wetlands Association. Dad also liked to teach by using the concept of pillars. In order for wetlands to survive, he said, 4 pillars of conservation need to stand: Mother Nature, science, political leadership, and community engagement. Together, those 4 pillars provide stability and a healthy ecosystem for future generations. In conclusion, Dad said, and I quote, "We must incorporate in our attitudes and policies that a wetland is not some useless swamp. It is in fact a vibrant part of our ecosystem. It is a place for plants and wildlife to flourish and diversify. It is a place to abate flooding and cleanse our water naturally. And it is a place for people to reconnect with nature's beauty around us. We must treat a wetland as nature's gift," end quote.
My father's contributions to conservation ultimately were rooted in the passion he felt for the beauty of the natural world around us and how important conservation is for a healthy, sustainable planet. And he knew that could only be done by working with and inspiring other people. He grew up as an only child, so he especially valued relationships. From an early age, he worked hard to cultivate them. It's something he took with him his entire life. He always appreciated the unlimited potential of what we can accomplish when we're working together. His natural passion for conservation and ability to lead made it all look easy. He worked tirelessly, though, to make connections between people from a wide range of backgrounds and political outlooks. He could inspire people to join the cause of conservation, even if they didn't agree on much else. He energized other people and was energized by them, mentoring and teaching and studying and learning. He cherished the relationships he built and could move easily between being a head coach and being a cheerleader. My father's academic background primarily was in political science and the law. When he was appointed to the Dane County Board and then reelected, he immediately began advocating for conservation and the environment. What he learned as a Dane County Board supervisor for 12 years was vital to his success. Campaigning door to door sharpened his ability to communicate, but more importantly, instilled in him how important it is to listen. That ability to listen allowed him over more than half a century to lead others, overcome obstacles, and achieve great things in conservation. He loved a great conversation and was always curious, asking questions of everyone, always thinking and learning and inspiring others to do the same. He was honest, open, and flexible, and never lost his optimism. Up until the end of his life, he knew there was more he wanted to do. Dad was born and raised in New York, went to college at North Carolina, but quickly made Wisconsin and Dane County his home. With his first wife, Lydia, he and his young family moved here in 1966. His first job was as a budget analyst when Warren Knowles was governor. 30 years later, he worked with Gaylord Nelson on fundraising for the Heritage Center. He knew the importance of the Knowles-Nelson Stewardship Program. He shared with his family the belief in the importance of conserving parks and open spaces for the natural world and its human occupants for today and tomorrow. His family enjoyed lovely home settings, first in the arboreal splendor of the Nokomin neighborhood in Madison, and then on the shores of Lake Wabisa with its many, many moods. Ultimately, Dad and the love of his life, the wonderful and amazing Judy Pfeiffer, settled in a Sun Prairie home with lovely, vibrant woods in the backyard and small wetland just beyond it. He nurtured those woods in his later years, creating a trail loop, cutting, not poisoning, buckthorn, and planting ferns and spring ephemerals with his grandchildren. His granddaughter has a degree in environmental studies. A grandson loves birds and hopes someday to work with raptors. Conversations around the dinner table were always enlightening and stimulating. He instinctively knew the importance of the natural world in maintaining human mental and physical health, and it was one of the prime motivating factors in his desire to strengthen county parks through the creation of the Foundation for Dane County Parks, with Judy and many others in the community. Leaving the world a better place than you found it was a guiding philosophy he shared with his family. His example inspires us every day and is with us always.
In addition to wetlands, Dad's efforts also focused on parks, trails, and natural areas. He loved land trusts and worked with them over years, starting with the successful efforts to save the Wally Bauman Woods on the UW campus with the Groundswell Conservancy, and then on the board of Gathering Waters. He cherished the Nature Conservancy landscapes and was on the board of the Natural Resources Foundation. He enjoyed visiting and learning about state natural areas. He was elated to give out small grants to schools and conservation groups around the state, like Who's Woods, for their work with injured owls. For 20 years, he promoted the Lake Wabeesa Conservation Association and helped found the Friends of Capital Springs Recreational Area as part of the Friends of Wisconsin State Parks. In 1989, he became chair of the Dane County Parks Commission and served for 30 years. Parks were his favorite. Again, Dad used the pillars concept when teaching about the parks. 6 pillars are needed to build and sustain a park system. First is Mother Nature, providing the canvas for the park, whether it is water, wetlands, or natural landscapes. Then there is the community, providing local support and nurturing. Next are government resources, followed by landowners imbued with a strong stewardship ethic. Then professional day-to-day management using sound science. And finally, the supporting volunteers and friend groups who act as the citizen backbone and champion of parks.
When Bill was Dane County Parks Commission chair, he wanted to do even more, like have more art in the parks or more naturalists in parks. But he felt something was actually really missing. What he wanted was a way to assure a public-private partnership to breathe more life into parks and to help support parks when government couldn't. So he worked with the commission and the park staff in Dane County to start an endowment in the Madison Community Foundation, which has just about reached the $1 million he envisioned 12 years ago. He realized that to raise money for the endowment, we needed a group of people to do it. So he formed an unofficial committee of friends of his. And from then on, he and I worked as a team. We met twice a month, kept records, and made plans. In 2014, we started having events which raised the money. In 2017, we officially became the Foundation for Dane County Parks. And we were now getting grants and corporate donations. By 2022, we had raised enough funds to hire an executive director with years of fundraising experience and an excellent part-time development coordinator. We had also attracted many more wonderful board members, and we now have a self-sustaining organization to support our Dane County parks, providing more accessibility for all, training for children and youth to bring along the next generations, and promoting parks as a place for physical and mental health and as an essential part of the ecosystem. Before Bill died, he dictated the following ideas to me. He said, Alda Leopold is still our spiritual leader, and we need to honor others like him, the pioneers, the scientists, the thinkers. But we have to build on their ideas to do the hard work of making sure that we strengthen the public-private paradigm for conservation. And as we move on in this century and beyond, we need this. To that end, we need a way of looking at some of these factors. First of all, he said, we need to look at parks and natural lands and trails as more than just recreational tools. Parks aren't just pay for play, as some would have us believe, but are really important elements in the ecosystem that they serve, such as improving residents' physical and mental health, combating flooding, conserving our natural lands, helping with climate change and flood control, providing tree canopies to cool us and help us breathe, and to provide the beauty that we all need. The second factor Bill felt was that we need to look at three pillars for the future of conservation in Wisconsin. The first pillar, building really strong community engagement and support. The second pillar, securing government funding where we can, which is key for stability and so that conservation can be inclusive and accessible for all. And really significant, he said, is the third pillar, establishing a private partnership. It is having organizations that are specifically designed for fundraising and doing the work to support permanent finances, like we did here in Dane County with the Foundation for Dane County Parks. Kathleen Falk was excellent because she took the big steps of getting government more involved in conservation. However, things have changed and it's getting more challenging. There are organizations working on public-private partnerships now, but Bill thought we must infuse them with more strength and the capacity to be able to support their fundraising work and also their important work in our communities. Bill said, and I quote, "We need to nurture people and organizations who don't treat the land like a commodity to buy and develop for their own profit, but hold it in trust for future generations. We still need more people with a land conscience." End of quote. We would like to end with Bill's most well-known quote. "A park is not just a piece of land. It is a vibrant part of a community. It is a source of pride and a place for people to reconnect with the natural beauty around us." We thank you for this honor for Bill Lunney.
Thank you for joining us on this special induction ceremony tonight honoring Bill Lunney. We hope you learned some new facts about Bill and enjoyed the presentation. Next time you find yourself enjoying one of Dane County's many parks or one of the other properties that Bill helped to preserve and protect for future generations, we hope you'll quietly thank Bill. You can learn more about the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame and Bill's work by visiting our website at wchf.org. Perhaps consider making a donation while you're there so that we can continue to support and honor the icons of Wisconsin conservation for many years to come. Thank you for tuning in and have a great evening.